Welcome to the Peak Performance Advantage, where you will learn how to achieve your most audacious goals, your most daring goals, outrageous, impossible goals. Now, that sounds like a big claim. You will learn how to do that. First question is, what is a peak performer? Who do we know as peak performers? We know Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Serena Williams, Steve Jobs, and the list goes on and on and on, whether it is somebody from the business field or the sports field. So it doesn't matter from which fields these peak performers are, we know that they achieve amazing goals which we really call impossible. And the reason we call it impossible is because from our point of view, it looks impossible because we are comparing ourselves to them. But the question is, do we have the potential? Do we perhaps have the ability to improve and become as awesome and audacious and the peak performers that they are? According to neuroscience, the answer is a definite yes. Definite yes. It's not up for debate. It is just true. All of us have the ability to achieve remarkable goals. Every single person. So when it comes to peak performance, we ordinary people have a mistaken belief that motivation, willpower, and talent are the three most important ingredients that will help you to become a peak performer. And that is not true. That will account for 20%, more or less, of your ability to become a peak performer. However, what you truly really need is you will need a set of habits, core habits, as well as a system in which to practice those habits. And that is what you will need. And if you can find those practices, those habits, and that system, and when we start practicing these habits, we ordinary people, then we can become the peak performers as well. So, what are these habits? What are these systems? Now, the first one is something called flow states. It means that peak performers can enter a state which is known as the flow state, and neuroscientists have seen that whether you are a tennis player, whether you are an artist, violin, painter, whether you are a CEO, and when you are performing at your best, then the same parts of the brain will be lighting up. The same parts of the brain will be lighting up. And the question is, what does this mean? It means that if we learn the habits and the systems that will help us to make sure that those very same areas are lighting up, then it means we will be entering the state of being a peak performer, right? Because if our brains are lighting up in the same areas, then it means we are in that peak state. And it doesn't matter what it is that we are learning or trying to improve upon, we will then be a peak performer in that area. So, when you can enter into the flow state, then three things happen. Number one is that your prefrontal cortex, that part of your brain, will shut down, which is where you are prone to overthinking, and also where your self-doubt comes from. And the second part of that is that your internal critic that has the self-talk, that's always giving you the information that you're doing this wrong and that wrong and so on, that will also be shut down. The third thing that will happen is your brain will release neurochemicals, endorphins, right? It will release these chemicals that will make your brain actually perform at a higher level. Not only that, but you will be enjoying what you do. You will be enjoying it. You will be having fun, and you will even want to do more of it. meaning that you will want to go again into a flow state. In other words, going into a flow state is pleasurable, it is fun, it is enjoyable. You want to do it, right? So what does that mean? It means that you are looking forward to the next exercise, the next practice, and building the habit, right? So how do we normally look at it? We look at it normally as, that must be difficult, that must be so terrible, I have to go do that workout, I have to wake up early, I have to go swim so many laps, I have to go practice for so many hours. But when we look at these people practicing, we are thinking from our point of view that it must be difficult, they probably want to stop. But we do not realize they're in this flow state, which actually they are actually having fun, they are enjoying it. But we don't see that, but they know it, they feel it, right? So another important thing about the flow state, time seems to just fly by. So in other words, while we are looking at these people playing for 2 hours, practicing for 2 long hours, and we're thinking, how can they do that for 2 hours? But while they are busy, for them, when they stop and you tell them 2 hours is over, they will say 2 hours. It feels like 20 minutes. So because they are enjoying it so much, it feels like 20 minutes, but it is a workout of 2 hours. So indeed, the flow state is one of those things that you will want to cultivate. It's a habit you really want to master. And so the flow state is really a practice that you want to cultivate and master and practice as regularly as possible, because it will be one of those skills, one of those practices that will help you to achieve your goal so much faster, 500% faster in some cases. So now think about it. Do you know what the flow state is? Can you tell me 3 things about the flow state?